Petroleum is the invisible lifeblood of modern civilization, a substance so deeply integrated into our daily existence, its constant flow is taken for granted. It is the fuel that powers our transport, the plastics that form our electronics, and the fertilizers that grow our food. It is the quiet engine humming beneath nearly every human activity. Imagine a world where this engine suddenly falls silent. This is not gradual depletion. It's an abrupt, instantaneous stop. Every oil well ceases production. Every pipeline runs dry. Every tanker halts its journey. This thought experiment is not apocalyptic fantasy, but a calm, real-world breakdown of the systems we depend on. We will trace the cascading consequences, from the immediate shock to the long-term transformation. Globally, daily consumption hovers around 100 million barrels. This immense flow is the planet's economic circulatory system. It's a continuous, high-stakes ballet of logistics, delivering energy from a few key production hubs to every corner of the globe. But oil is more than fuel. It's the feedstock for plastics, the basis for fertilizers, and the source of lubricants for nearly every machine with moving parts. The modern world is, in a very real sense, built from oil. This is the story of what happens when that system is switched off. The first sign of the crisis would not be a dramatic explosion, but a quiet, creeping paralysis. As news breaks, panic buying erupts. This surge in demand drains local station inventories with astonishing speed. Airlines, realizing their jet fuel reserves are finite and non-replaceable, begin canceling flights en masse. Within 48 hours, the skies fall eerily silent. Trucking companies, the lifeblood of logistics, are forced to ground their fleets. The continuous movement of goods that stocks our shelves effectively ceases. Emergency services are placed on a war footing. Fuel is strictly rationed, reserved for only the most life-threatening calls. Financial markets enter a freefall of historic proportions. It is a fundamental repricing of the entire global economy. Airlines, automotive manufacturers, shipping corporations, their value evaporates as traders scramble to dump shares. Governments swiftly move to nationalize all remaining petroleum products. The open market for oil ceases to exist, replaced by government decree. These reserves, intended to last for months, represent only about 15 days of pre-crisis global consumption. They are a buffer, not a solution. As the first week gives way to the secondary effects of the transportation collapse become the primary crisis. Supermarket shelves begin to empty. Waste collection, which relies on fleets of diesel trucks, ceases. Garbage piles up in the streets, creating a sanitation crisis. The healthcare system is pushed to the brink. As deliveries and manufacturing halt, doctors are forced to make impossible choices, rationing care. Urban populations, facing a city with no food and collapsing services, begin a mass migration towards rural areas on foot. This leads to intense conflict. The trust that underpins a cohesive society evaporates, replaced by a survivalist mentality of us versus them. The failure of the oil network reveals the unseen dependencies that hold our other infrastructure together, starting with the electrical grid. Coal plants need diesel trains for fuel. Pipelines need maintenance crews and trucks. Even renewables require lubricants and replacement parts delivered by a system that no longer exists. The result is a fragmented, unreliable power supply. Rolling blackouts become permanent in many areas, crippling communication, sanitation, and what's left of manufacturing. Meanwhile, the infrastructure of the old world begins to decay, with untended wells and pipelines slowly leaking crude oil and methane into the environment. All international trade and travel ceases. The shared global culture driven by the internet and mass media dissolves as humanity is thrown back into profound disconnection. The geopolitical map is redrawn. Power shifts from industrial might to nations blessed with ample arable land, fresh water, and low population density. The global economy shifts to primitive barter. Canned goods, clean water, and practical skills become the new currency. Society fragments into a mosaic of cooperative enclaves, fortified towns and territories controlled by predatory factions, each governed by its own set of rules. Decades after the sudden stop, survivors inhabit a world profoundly reshaped by necessity. The initial chaos has given way to a long, arduous rebuilding. The focus is on resilient, self-sufficient systems. An age of ingenuity born from scarcity, where innovation is for survival, not profit. Material science shifts away from petroleum. Waste plastic from the old world becomes a precious resource, while new materials are derived from hemp and advanced woodworking. The societies that endured are smaller, more agrarian, and intensely localized. Objects are built to last for generations, and decisions are guided by long-term planning. This scenario highlights both our profound fragility and our remarkable resilience. Systems optimized for efficiency proved brittle, yet humanity's capacity to adapt, organize, and rebuild remained. It forced a revaluation of what is truly essential: food, water, community, and the knowledge to sustain them. The lesson, learned at an unimaginable price, is one of interdependence. It reveals the pragmatic urgency of accelerating our transition to diverse, decentralized, and sustainable systems. Calmly examining this hypothetical collapse sharpens the choices we face today, and will determine whether we manage a deliberate transition or endure a forced, chaotic adaptation we could have foreseen. What scenario should we explore next? Share your ideas below. You've been watching If Verse, where imagination meets possibility. See you in our next reality.